It don't matter. None of this matters.
Alright, hello, and welcome to Star Time. We just got huge news right before we started, which puts kind of a little pall on everything. So RIP to RGB. Jesus. This is gonna get grim, folks. It may be preferable to move to Venus, which is what we're gonna discuss tonight. Not actually moving to Venus, or not. That's actually the topic of our activity at the end. How are you doing, Jasmine?
Good.
You look great. You do look great. Yeah. So with that hanging over our heads.
This is straight liquor.
Whew! Well, I guess I could start drinking this delicious Avon cologne, which is not our sponsor, but look how cute it is.
Sorry.
Now.
The makeup looks better in person, I promise.
It looks great here. How are y'all doing tonight, folks? Now, let us think here. What have we got to do today? Oh, first up, I just wanted to discuss, we have a little thing we want to chat with folks about. I know, folks are probably just joining us at the moment.
I gotta say, I just killed this real fast, so this is real interesting.
Things are going to be real fun here. We're coming to you live on a new computer. Hopefully this works nice. And it was a little rushed today. Work has been doing a lot of activity. If you want to know a little bit about what it is, you can look up something called Big Astronomy. And it's like a planetarium show that I'm not directly involved in, but I am helping out with some of the edges of it. And it looks really fun. But for now, made some time for Star Time, because there's always time for Star Time, would you say? Yeah. Jasmine's checking the chat. Hey, folks. Now,
everybody's too depressed. I get it.
I know. I felt like such a shithead just posting, "Join us tonight!" like 20 minutes ago, something terrible happens. And
yeah,
it's
I feel like shit. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll try to perk up.
Maybe it doesn't. But we have 2 viewers. What's up, viewers? But we have what do we got today? We want to discuss something to avoid the whole my face being on both of our shows for the subscription link and just being my name. We kind of want to have a fun new name for our channel. It would be like a brand channel, so we'd move everything over. Everyone's comments and everything would be the same and saved. But yeah, what would it be? I jokingly said it should be Cybernetic NBC, because that was a weird dream that I had once that Jasmine recorded me doing. So if you need something to cheer yourself up, Google Cybernetic NBC on YouTube. And
I think I might put the link in the chat, because I think it'll be funny.
Okay, go for it. But yeah, that's going to be something that's probably instantly going to get copyright slapped right off the face of YouTube and the internet. So if you got any other ideas for like a fun channel name, go for it. We pick your name. We'll give you a present of some sort. Maybe you can come on the show too. Also, if you have ideas for if you want to talk about monsters or UFOs or just weird science or anything strange, that's going to be the theme of October. Spooktober or something. So we got a couple guests already lined up for that. We're going to talk about the Jersey Devil, some mystical glyphs from one of Howard Stern's Rat Pack. Rat Pack. He didn't have a Rat Pack, he had a Whack Pack. The opposite of the Rat Pack. I'd rather hang out with the Whack Pack than the Rat Pack. How about you?
Yes.
But yeah. Also, we're thinking about starting to stream to multiple services now that we have the capability. So, if you'd like to see us on Twitch, or, God help us, Facebook Live or something like that, let us know. And we'll do our best to check it out. Maybe we'll even start doing it next week. Next week's going to be more about observing the moon, because it's International Observe the Moon Night. So, that's going to be hopefully fun. I gotta actually fix the computer up before I do that.
Links in the chat now.
Oh, links in the chat, folks. But yeah, so with that, let's our intros here. I don't know. Let's not do the regular news, but do you think we should do some space news?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Boom.
Oh man.
All right. So, what you see, there's the first thing up, of course, is the announcement that Venus may possibly have some sort of life on it. This is detected via a weird gas that usually is not found in great quantities or really any, without either life or some pretty rare processes forming it what's called abiotically.
Wow.
Yeah. So, this actually is an image from the Japanese Akutsuki craft, which has been diligently checking out Venus for the last several years. We're going to get more on Venus in a second. So, the whole rest of the episode is about, but it's very interesting. The thing they detected was a chemical called phosphine, and it seems like they're not sure if there's another process they just don't understand making it, or if it's life. This is one of the more strongly worded versions of this, and this came from a paper released by, I think, the Royal Astronomical Society out of Britain. Yeah, more on that in a bit.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. I think I heard something else about... Well, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Next up, back to Jupiter's moons again. Oh, I'm going to move over just a hair. We gotta do our presentation. Yes. Look at these beautiful moons. We covered them a little bit in some past episodes. So the big thing about these moons is that they all look very different. They're all obviously shaped by massive tidal forces. So the question is, are the tidal forces coming from Jupiter or the moons? What's the dominant force? And for the longest time, I don't know, I think there was some split, because I knew a few folks that were saying, no, it's mostly the moons doing it. Other people were like, no, it's mostly Jupiter. There's a new study out that says that it looks like these planet-sized moons orbiting pretty near each other around Jupiter are actually causing a good deal of this stress, especially with Ganymede pulling near Io and especially Europa, counteracting Jupiter's stuff. So.
Outside forces causing a lot of stress. I get that.
Right? And interestingly enough, these are actually in the... So imagine I'm Jupiter. Okay, and all the planets are... These are actually all the moons coming out from there. So the most affected is Io with the horrible volcanoes. And then Europa with these undersea oceans making this, like, crazy ice stuff. And then Ganymede, the biggest one, pulling on them one way. So Jupiter here, Ganymede pulling there. Callisto kind of just looks like a cratered moon, like you kind of expect. And it's on outside of the two other forces. I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not. More so than being inside the two. I'd rather be outside a fight than inside a tug of war, so to speak. So, we'll see. It's not very scientific. I don't understand much of this article. This might be really fun for you to check out, especially if you've got a fascination with string theory and particle physics. Yeah. This is something called a boson star. It's nothing they've discovered. It's just something they're theorizing might exist. So instead of being made of normal matter, there's a thing called bosons. You may have heard of the Large Hadron Collider and the Higgs boson getting detected there. That's one of those particles.
That's wild shit.
Yeah, the weird thing is, they did these measurements because they weren't sure if it would resemble that famous black hole picture they took a couple years ago. Like with the ring around it, the Event Horizon image. And they're like, they might look almost exactly the same, except this weird thing where light would pass through the boson star, unlike it, but it would still warp light around the edges. So they did some simulations, and it does not look like the Event Horizon picture. However, they're not sure, like, they know that it might look sort of similar still. Something weird to check out. A very weird kind of star, which might help possibly help the string theory? It's very difficult for me. I don't know particle physics very well at all. But it seems cool. So you can check that out. You're thrilled.
I am. Put F in the chats to say bye to your reproductive rights. I'm kidding, sorry.
I don't want to do that.
Alright, that's it. Hey guys, sorry.
There's no need to apologize. This is going to be a weird day.
This is a fucked day. My birthday's tomorrow. Cancelled.
But another space news: the Nebra star disk. It's this famous old star map, which they thought was from the Bronze Age.
That actually looks quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's made, so some of the stuff on here, like some of these stars here are supposed to represent the Pleiades. 7 stars in here. They're not sure if this is a sun or a moon, but they definitely know this is a crescent moon, and this is like they're debating the dating on this basically. So they found it in a bunch of Bronze Age artifacts, and like, oh, a lot of bronze here. This is Bronze Age. But now they're thinking, oh, actually, this is Iron Age because of some other issues they found with the way that everything was kind of scattered around at the field site, or the dig, which I can't believe I mixed this up. I don't really know. Like, I thought Iron Age was before Bronze Age. Bronze seems more sophisticated to me, but no. Iron Age after Bronze Age, so this makes this newer than they thought. So, still old as shit. Like, I think it's like maybe first millennium BC or something like that instead of several millenniums before BC. So, I don't know. Trojan War was the former dating, and now it's more like fighting like amongst the Greek states in Persia in like 500 or something. Don't ask me about the history, I'm not certain. Other news, they made a special spaceship that's gonna go and hug some satellites and boost them up into orbit. So there's that. That's a thing it's a kind of, what this is this like a backpack almost. It straps to the outside of a satellite with that's run out of fuel. Like, they gotta have fuel to like orient themselves and keep themselves aloft at a certain orbit. And for very expensive satellites that cost billions of dollars, this like multi-million-dollar upgrade was great for like a 5-year life extension or something. So it's actually kind of an interesting thing to kind of like help prevent space junk. This could also be used to deorbit certain things, I imagine. But it's a nice like a fuel booster. So it is from the good people at at Northrop Grumman.
Okay.
It's the folks that brought us the stealth bomber.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was actually like legitimately could be pretty useful. It's kind of cool. But Jasmine, there's a couple more coming up.
Yeah?
That I think you're into. Oh wait, oops.
Uranus.
Sorry, I missed everything up here.
Oh, that's okay. This is a chill show.
Oh, this is just two goons shaking hands. The glassy-eyed Jim Bridenstine and forever too high and smoked himself stupid Elon Musk, celebrating lots of corporate activity with NASA. I could not find a good picture of this, but there's Estee Lauder is basically doing an ad campaign on the space station. Jasmine, your thoughts on this?
Estee Lauder is for, I want to say, 40-year-old MILFs that want to stay young, but kind of know to stay in their own lane, and that's the kind of stuff that they buy. I don't buy Estee Lauder at all. And I don't know why they're sending it off into space. They should have gone for, like, more newer makeup, like Milk. Because those are the girls that, like, are interested in space travel.
Well, this was Estee Lauder's idea, not NASA's, I believe.
So NASA should have said no.
They don't want to. They want the money.
I get that, but
there's this big push to make the space station make money.
When's the last time any girl has, like, been excited about anything Estee Lauder has done? Let's be real. I'm just not the market for it, so I'm just not impressed.
One thing, you're not going to actually see makeup tutorials featuring astronauts.
That makes sense because the fallout on some of the palettes that they use could be bad for the space instruments.
That's a good point too. But yeah, they're actually just barred. There's still a law barring them from doing ads with their faces and stuff.
What makeup is going into space? That's what I want to know. We don't know.
No. Now, this headline popped up this week.
Who's gonna tell them?
Yeah, we're missing her. The Mars missions may be all female to avoid astronauts having sex during a 1.5-year journey with, of course, Miss Adrienne A. Cox saying, Jasmine, should we tell them? I want to tell them.
You want to tell them? You can tell them.
Yeah. So yeah, the general idea of this was actually, I think it's a proposal just to prevent anyone from getting pregnant.
Bro.
Yeah, its phrasing is weird.
So we can't bring birth control into space.
I don't know. You had some strong feelings on this earlier.
I mean, an all-women utopia in space sounds great, but their ideas are interesting. I mean, hell, I'm thinking about booking a flight right now.
Now, Jasmine and I have a long-standing
Especially
argument about if you can have sex in space.
Oh yeah, we've thought about this for years.
I'm pretty sure that you can in some fashion.
I say it's probably not even gonna be worth it.
Now, this is 0G.
You probably can't. Allie, you were absolutely right.
Allie's saying,
we probably can't have a lot of things, but birth control will be probably one of those things that we can't have in 2 years' time.
yeah.
So that's another reason why I'd like to go to another planet.
Sex in space will be illegal.
Sex will be illegal here too, if you really think about it. We'll probably have to start signing waivers or something.
Just in time for me to age. That's nice.
He's old. I'm getting older.
I can finally catch up on my crosswords. Oh.
Girl, I'm right there with you, Allie. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Before
I'm
dying on
officially
Mars
done.
looked like a bad idea, you know what? At least we might be able to have sex on Mars before we die.
And this is going to be a new for me, but given the circumstances, give me a minute. I'm going to get another drink because I do need one.
Ooh! Well, if she's getting the drink, I'm going to discuss a little bit of observing news. Okay. Oh, Jasmine's over there. I'll push this over here. Wait, are you just getting straight liquor?
No. I know that would be bad.
Oh,
for the
can
show.
check. What do you got today, Jasmine?
Oh, today I'm actually going to be making a drink called a Jungle Bird.
Jungle
it's
Bird?
from the 70s, I believe. It was invented in Singapore.
We're having
From the Hilton Hotel.
Campari.
It is a bar that was in that hotel called the Apiary. And it was really cool because the Apiary had like birds all around it. It was like you could see tropical birds as you drank. And the tropical bird, jungle bird, was invented to celebrate the opening of the bar. And it's part Campari, which you wouldn't think would go with a tiki drink, and rum. I'm gonna include a lot of rum because I'm fucking depressed. And I'm not doing it the way you would
It
normally
also
do
has
it.
pineapple juice. But
Yes.
you can just use rum and Campari if you want. Or just rum, or just Campari if you're a very hairy old Italian guy.
You want to splash. You don't want to add too much. You want it to give it almost like a blush color because this is a very bitter liqueur.
Yo, check out the shout-outs for other liquors in the chat. Miranda's saying she made a Manhattan, but she's going to do straight rye for a minute.
I don't blame you, girl. I feel like that is definitely the way to go.
Allie said she'd kill for hard alcohol. Do not kill for alcohol.
You
Not
might as
yet.
well at this point. Who cares?
Save it for another year or two.
And then,
Injuries are fun.
if anybody wants the recipe, it is equal parts rum, equal parts juice. And you should add lime and a bit of simple syrup as well. But I'm getting a little lazy and lax here because this really isn't about the flavor at this point. It's just about getting through the day.
That's right, you heard it here first.
Any other questions about this drink? I'm happy to answer them. Oh, and did I mention it has to be dark rum? It can't be white. Because that's what the recipe calls for. And I think it is important because, you want a richer flavor for this. And don't be afraid of it. It's actually quite a good drink, despite the fact that you would think it's a little weird, but it's delicious.
There you go. The official Star Time drink. And what is this called again?
It's called a Jungle Bird.
The Jungle Bird.
But for tonight, since the parts are missing, I'm just going to call this a recipe for sadness.
Aww. Okay. Now,
Ooh, yeah.
I'm wondering. We're doing that.
And yes, it is mostly rum at this point.
Also, anyway, a little bit of stargazing stuff.
Cool! I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
Thank you.
Well, it's not totally fine.
No,
But
it's...
yeah,
It's pretty bad, guys. I'm normally not the person to say this, but we are fucked.
You are 100% the person that says that.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
like
a little
Garfield
more
saying
pointed
he
right
hates
now.
Mondays. I've never heard Garfield say he hates Mondays.
Yeah.
Or wants to murder John. By
Oh my
ripping
god,
him
girl,
through the sternum.
thank you. It's Fenty Beauty.
Oh,
She's talking about my lipstick. It's fall, so I'm bringing out the dark berry lipstick. I think this is, the shade is called, gosh, it's a really cool name. It's like Bellatrix or something.
okay. Speaking of, I actually saw the Pleiades when I was walking home last night. They're coming up. The seasons are changing. Which is kind
I
of neat.
saw my dyes die all at once tonight.
Tonight, you can see the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia shifting positions. You may notice that they've looked a little different since the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. the sky's changing. The moon's it's already set and it's a very thin crescent. So as the days get cooler, this is maybe your last chance to really get a nice, comfortable view-ish of the Milky Way if you're in the northern hemisphere. So there's also a thing, if you look to the east now, like shortly after sunset, you're gonna see a very bright Mars. It's gonna be maybe brighter than Jupiter, almost as bright. And actually, I checked it out with binoculars last night because I was wondering, can you see it as an orb? Because I was surprised earlier this year when I looked at Venus with binoculars and could totally see it as a crescent. And yes, Mars will look like an orb now and not a point of light because it's getting so much closer, which is also why it's so much brighter.
I think I want this tattooed on me, actually, now that I think about it.
Big Dipper?
Yeah, Ursa Major in general.
Awesome.
Sooner the better, because I need pain to feel things.
Should I take up tattooing? Stick and poke.
Who cares at this point? Let's just do whatever. Continue, sorry.
Oh yeah. The other thing is speaking of the seasonal changes, the 22nd is the solstice. So, here's actually an image of what that looks like from space. So the solstice is generally when the day and night are about equal. That actually is not 100% correct throughout the entire northern and southern hemispheres.
Things being equal, something we will also not have to be used to anymore.
Well, I mean, they weren't really...
Oh yeah, that's true. It's going to be worse. Continue.
But the solstice, or the equinox. I mix up the solstices and the equinoxes all the time. I'm sorry. Equinox means equal.
Equal.
Thank you, Miranda.
I would love equality.
Miranda just said, isn't it the equinox? No, don't be sorry. Please, I don't have my corrections text on here. I must always be corrected. I will completely swap opposite terms. It is like the gym, but you don't have to pay anything for it, especially on an incredibly premium price. But yeah, the equinox, this is actually, you can see it. It's the only time when both of the poles of Earth, the north and south, are illuminated by the sun at the same time. That's kind of the kicker there, just geometrically speaking. But around the equinox is when the days and nights are almost the same for most of the folks around the world. You can check various sources to see when that precise moment will be for you. But yeah, lots of fun rituals. Our garden is probably going to freeze tonight. So fall, in my opinion, is culturally already here, if not scientifically.
Break out the pumpkin spice.
PSLs for everyone. Pumpkin spice and
darker lipsticks, ladies.
People's socialist liberation. Is that the party? Anyway.
I want to burn things.
And I think that's mostly it for space news. So we're going to talk about Venus stuff. God, this is a great picture.
Venus.
The
planet of women.
The planet that people enjoy, and the planet people used to think was full of dinosaurs.
Actually, I do remember that documentary I saw with this like old English astronomer. They finally got to see Venus, and he was very disappointed. He was expecting jungles and shit. Yeah.
Oh god, that'd have been awesome. I included a reptile-looking alien in the art for today's show because that is still what some people believe the reptoids come from, that that run our world, quote unquote.
I wish they did. We'd probably be in better shape.
Right? It seems like they'd be more competent at running it. They seem better at running things than they live.
Yeah. Heating pads everywhere for everyone.
Ooh, that would be nice. There was a funny alien invasion story where the aliens that invaded were lizards, and they decided to do fuck all in like Siberia and like the north, like Canada and a few of the colder areas. It was just like, this, you can have this. We don't like it here. It's kind of funny. They're also addicted to ginger, which is extremely hilarious.
Same.
Ginger
that sounds wrong because he's here. Not that way, like the actual spice. He's cool, but...
Oh, thank you. But this picture here is from a few years ago. There's a lot of dark streaks in this picture of Venus. There was already speculation that these dark streaks, which change seasonally, were indications of some kind of microbe or something going along and growing in the upper atmosphere, which is, I think, it's like 20 to 40 kilometers up, something like that. I've heard 50 kilometers up, but it's substantially above the hot zone of Venus, which is most of Venus. This is an idea, I think Carl Sagan even talked about it in the 60s and 70s. Our wonderful stoned astronomer friend, Carl Sagan. And he was in Cosmos. There was a brief section about possible microbes living in the upper cloud decks of Venus. I could not find that image, unfortunately. But I did find some other fun stuff to show y'all. Now, the thing is the big thing about Venus is they found what's called phosphine. This is a picture of phosphine. Look at it. Look at these beautiful nubbins right here. Look at these good little nubbins. Look at that. So nice. Anyway, it's like a very volatile chemical. You can read the Wikipedia page, which is what I did the research. Phosphine.
Volatile.
They had like just a little blip that said if there's another variant of this chemical with like an extra H in it or something, it will explode in the atmosphere. Nubbins. I've never thought of hydrogen as a nubbin. Now you'll never not think of hydrogen as a nubbin, Allie. So it's a pretty reactive chemical, and so it needs to constantly be replenished at its source. And the fact that there is enough that we could detect it in the atmosphere of Venus from Earth seems to be pretty suggestive that there's some process constantly making it on Venus. Is it related to those clouds that appear seasonally? Unsure. I think I briefly read through the paper, and they did discuss some of the ways that they're thinking that we're abiotic, not life based, right? The closest they could come with was like crushing pressures inside of Jupiter that create phosphine. Venus is nowhere near the size of Jupiter, while it has a lot of pressure on the surface, much more pressure than Earth because the atmosphere is actually thicker. It's not thick enough, as they understand it, to create phosphine. They ran through a bunch of other possible ways that this could have happened. They keep going back to life, but they're not saying it was life itself. I think Sarah Sigurd was quoted on this too. She's great. She's always looking for life everywhere, kind of like the astrobiologists they like to go to. And yeah, they're kind of trying to be like, it's not life, but it might be, but we don't want to get people too excited. Like the Mars meteorite and other stuff that got people excited and then got disappointed. But phosphine being in the atmosphere is a big deal.
Disappointment is something we're going to have to get used to.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But as we discussed with Allie last week, there could be extremophiles that do live in these cloud decks. And then describing this earlier, you'll read some articles and you're like, it's just like a fall day on Earth on the upper atmosphere of Venus. It's like got a lot of air still. You could breathe it if you could breathe like sulfuric acid, so that part's not good. But, stuff could live there. It gets a lot of sun. It's above most of the clouds. And, yeah, there are things that live in sulfuric acid and love it, like hot sulfur springers here. Again, they love acidity, see? Look at how much they love the acidity. They grow in your, in some real nasty places, like mud pits, volcanic areas, like Yellowstone. That's the stuff that grows in those brightly colored pits with big signs, do not go in here. Like that Instagram person that died by being melted by jumping in the pool. Those kind of pools. It will melt the influencer, but this hot sulfur springer will thrive. And perhaps something like that is happening on Venus, living and happily plodding along. Oh, and I forgot to there was a picture someone put up a few weeks ago about early Venus covered in water. They took a topographic map and just kind of splashed water at a certain level and said, look, this is what the oceans on Venus would have looked like several billion years ago. So here's the thing. There's some possible evidence that Venus may have had water at one point. And it may have and it looks like, judging from fossils on Earth, that life appears extremely quickly after you get a crust on a planet and you have an atmosphere. So it's possible Venus developed microorganisms, and then as it quickly got a greenhouse effect kicking in, making everything inhospitable, those sulfur springers or some extremophile could have survived. So that's kind of the kicker. That's part of the theorizing of how this might work. Heck, it's even possible that something hit Venus knocked some of those things over to Earth. They seeded Earth. That's a whole thing called panspermia. There's a whole thing that maybe happened from Mars to Earth, Earth to Mars. Maybe
That
this
sounds
goes.
great.
It's fun. There's a lot of Star Treks about it. It's also the kind of the explanation for everyone looks like humans, except they got ridges. That someone's gonna go like, it's actually the progenitors. The progenitors did that. I know, whatever. Anyway, panspermia. That's right. So this is kind of my favorite thing. There's the old joke about it's an old space enthusiast joke. The U.S. does Mars, Russia does Venus, and neither can land on the other without screwing up. Russia had a series of very successful probes that even landed on and operated on the surface of Venus at like many hundreds of degrees. Now, they even put a balloon, I think a couple of balloons, into the atmosphere on one of their probes. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. This will cause buffering. Oh. Sorry,
Did we
folks.
do a no-no?
We may have done a no-no in our setup, but we will correct it later. Thank you for hanging in with us.
Yeah, it helps.
New computer, folks. But yeah, so they released balloons. This is in the 80s, and this is a crazy mission. The Russians sent the Vega series of probes. Vega 1, I think this was, and maybe there was a Vega 2. They swung around Venus to do a gravity assist to go on their primary mission, which was to photograph Halley's Comet. A whole shitload of probes went to Halley's Comet in the 80s. However, on the way there, they also made the most of that opportunity and dropped those probes onto Venus on the way there. It's kind of like the newspaper guy just like chucking stuff out as he goes along the way. You know, famously, newspapers that we get delivered at our homes.
I'm digging this black on black backdrop.
This looks cool.
On a side note.
But the balloons weren't equipped to look for life because everyone was like, why the fuck would there be life in the clouds? If they had been, maybe they would have seen something. But they did detect lots of rain, or some rain, which was a bit of a surprise because they were like, there's rain at all? But sulfuric acid rain, most likely, and some interesting shit. It's weird because these missions kind of took place kind of near the end of the Soviet era, and there's a lot of information that seems to be missing or hard to access. It could honestly just be because a lot of people just don't read Cyrillic and can't fucking be bothered. Because Soviet was pretty open about a lot of stuff. But it's kind of like maybe with China as well, where there was a military aspect controlling the thing. I don't know. Is the Russian space program also military? The Chinese space program has some issues with people knowing everything that's going on, but it's not like our Air Force shoots stuff up all the time in secret, so, you know, that goes both ways. But there's a lot of Venus stuff that we're still not sure the Russians might have figured out. But they did not find life. They would have 100% have said something if they did. Now, this is like a concept, of course, I think from our good friends at Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, about a little orbiter to go up to Venus.
Good old Lockheed.
Not an orbiter, but a kind of like a solar-powered drone that would just hang out for like weeks on end, just checking out the clouds. I don't know how long it would last, because it would still be equipment going through basically sulfuric acid clouds and mist, so it doesn't seem like it would last for a very long time. But there's materials that are very resistant to acid. So, but that's a possible thing they want to. They propose sending. There's been a bunch of Venus proposals, and before they would get shot down because Venus is not the interesting planet. It's Mars. Now it's kind of more interesting, so we'll see what happens in the next round of Discovery proposals. I just included a few more pictures of some of these like just absolutely badass and weird-looking Russian probes. This is one of the Venera series, the earlier landers that would land on the surface of Venus and take pictures and stuff. And, for example, this reprocessed picture, someone got a hold of the old data and actually made it a little prettier. As we get more advanced with our image manipulation, we can take old images from old space probes and make them look better, which is an unexpected bonus. And I thought I had a picture of the Vega probe, but it is lost to us, sadly. But it's very cool. You can look up the designs of these. They look way different than American stuff. A lot more of like, they're more bulbous. A lot more round stuff on them. They look neat. But anyway, life on Venus. Here we go. So that's kind of the background, and now we're going to play something that Jasmine has come up with called Debate Time, the future of Venus exploration. So,
Yeah.
Jasmine, if you will.
So I just don't feel like we're gonna go for it. I think we're gonna like check it out for 2 seconds and then we're gonna get bored and we're gonna leave. And my theory is, let's be real. Let's be real about who we are as human beings, particularly the people who are launching these missions, especially as it's getting more like capitalized and stuff like that. Number one, why is this green woman here? The alien life that we supposedly have, or that they think is there, humans aren't going to be able to fuck them. Let's get real. If they can't have sex with and exploit the life that's there, they're not going to want to go. Because that's all what we know how to do. Especially if it's a new place. We're just going to go there and fuck everything up, including the lives there.
What if you can play Warhammer with them?
No, we're not going to do that.
Okay. I don't really like Warhammer.
Especially the female of the species. We would have to fuck that up as much as possible. Because that's the only thing we know how to do. Continue.
Wait, I'm supposed to debate you, right?
Oh, go ahead. Debate me right now.
I think it's still cool to go and check stuff out. I think that people want to go just because there's a weird creature. I mean, I spent like an hour... Like, I've watched the Nova special about slime molds twice at this point. Back to back! Microorganisms rule. I want to see new kinds. I want to go to Venus and see... Well, maybe I'll send something to Venus to see them. I don't really want to land on Venus or in the clouds and see it.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. You just want to take a look and then leave. You don't want to stay and hang out and get to know the area. Sure, of course. Why would you?
Nice picture.
Oh, yes. Okay, so another reason why we're probably not going to really go there is...
Maybe they are like Q. Allie suggests that they might be like Q from Star Trek.
Oh, thank God you said Q, because I was thinking like QAnon, because given how fucked everything is, I'm like, whoa, Q.
QAnon has ruined the fans of that wonderful character, the annoying godling.
I wish it was like a Q situation. The reason why I have this image right here is, you know, we're not going to be able to do the 3 C's that we like to do whenever we come to a new place. It's colonization, conversion, and then cholera. Let me go into conversion first. I'm not going to name names on religion, alright? But we know who we're talking about, right? There's a specific religion that likes to come into new places, sticking it where it doesn't belong. You know, Christianity, different type of Christianity, Catholicism. I just feel like we're not going to go there because, again, we can't exploit people and do weird things.
I don't think people care about, like, bringing religion to other worlds.
You would think that.
Oh, wait,
give it
Mormons?
time. Oh, you know, the second they could, they would.
They get their own planets.
Exactly. So they probably already think they belong there.
Okay.
Next slide. Christianity. That's Christianity. Next slide. Different type of Christianity.
We're just doing... It's just...
Yeah,
okay.
more Christianity.
So, okay.
Cholera. That's the other thing that you guys like to bring whenever you visit new worlds, right?
You guys live in cholera.
Cholera, like yellow fever, all the germs that we already have. We're gonna bring it to this new planet.
What if we
kill everything there?
Ooh. I think it's neat that we go because we might bring back the germs from there to here. That'd be neat because we need to study them on Earth. That would be great
because then we would have a George A. Romero situation, which I would prefer at this point.
For folks that don't understand the reference, in the classic 1960s horror film, The Night of the Living Dead, the initial plague is rumored to have been started by a crashed space probe returning from Venus.
And if we needed to bring somebody back from the dead, it would be right now. Next slide.
Even with the eating the blood stuff?
It would still be preferable.
Actually, that would be more humane than whoever they're going to nominate from, like... What's that awful group of, like, Tradcath judges that they keep pulling people from? Not the Heritage Foundation. What is that? Anyway, whatever Kavanaugh's a member of, those Federalist Society! Yes. Bloodthirsty, ravenous for brains, RBG, definitely better than any member of the Federalist Society. Okay, what do we got? More religion?
More religion, yeah.
So this is just... There's no religious reason to go, so we're not going to go?
Probably. That's my belief.
There's got to be some other religions that are all about finding life elsewhere. There was an aspect of communism that was actually like very much about exploring to find other life forms that would be communist.
That's communism, though.
True. That's well, yeah, true. Political theory.
Yes, if communism was a religion, I mean,
For some folks, it sort of
that
was,
could be
I
actually
guess.
really cool. Maybe people would actually follow it, you know, I mean, not being this mouse. Next. Oh, yeah,
Conquering.
Yeah, colonization, you know, just straight up exploitation, just coming in where you don't belong, fucking things up.
I mean, the thing is, it's funny, like, there is talk, though, colonization-ish talk of it might be easier to terraform Venus than Mars, and now it is really cranking into high gear in those, like, circles.
Oh, bitch, no way.
Damn, read what Allie said there.
Oh! Fun fact, all lawyers in Florida who hope to be a judge, even liberal ones, pretend to be conservative and attend federal society meetings.
That's how
Society
the depth of their
is
infiltration,
fucked.
folks.
See, I'm here
It's not
trying
even
to...
infiltration, it's just blatant.
I'm here trying to protect Venus
You
from
can-
the fuckery that is humanity.
Direct line from these motherfuckers to the Federal Society, by the way.
Just know, if aliens were to come here, I would be there with receipts as to why they should leave.
Ah! However, back to the Green Lady. I think that wraps up our,
Fun fact about the Green Lady, though. Obviously, this is from Star Trek, and no, this is one of the aliens that Kirk did not have the pleasure of fucking.
He didn't
But
bang her?
fun fact here. When they actually filmed this and put this on TV, the people who were, like, editing thought that there was something wrong with the film. So they kept getting rid of the green color on her skin, making it look like human skin, and they kept having to go, no, she's supposed to be green.
That rules.
From the first episode as well.
Okay. Oh.
Nerd shit.
Anyway, here we are, floating thousands of miles above Venus. To wish you all, hopefully, a better weekend. Also, just to let y'all know, yeah, you have any ideas for like a fun name or theme for our new branded channel? Because we're not going to come up with, I'm not going to slap Cybernetic NBC on there, just have it slapped in a copyright form and immediately by YouTube. That would be a very fun name. If y'all have fun names, if you have, for us to do that, let us know. If you have any strong opinions about other streaming platforms you'd like us to use, like Twitch or anything else, let us know. Yeah, you can, and you can send us a message. If y'all know us personally, you know how to get a hold of us. We're gonna put our social media in the chat and just send us a nice DM. I'll send you feet pics if you really want, but I gotta tell you, got new sneakers, you're not gonna like them. But yeah, you can find me at Live Long and Dave Prosper, 'cause I'm a massive dork, on Instagram, or Prosper Dave on Twitter. Jasmine, where can folks find you?
At the bottom of a cavern drinking this.
Jazzy Pants on Instagram, or Jazzy Men on Twitter.
Sunday we'll have brunch though. Hopefully I will be in a better state of mind. Definitely not sober, I will tell you that. My birthday's tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
So send feet pics to Jasmine to wish her a happy birthday.
I feel like today, if you want to drink yourself stupid, it's like the perfect day to do it.
What else we got here? And just Sunday, who's your guest on brunch show?
It's a good friend of mine, Sarah, so we'll probably try to cheer everybody up.
Low Tormatic on Twitter.
A Jungle Bird, I highly recommend this, even though my face is like this. It's a very pleasurable drink and makes me happy. It's a bit of summer during these cold, bitter times.
If you have an edible that you've been not wanting to eat, just have a bite tonight, you know, if you haven't already. And,
Fuck it, try heroin.
Oh, next week I'm gonna try doing a live moon observation. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but Saturday is International Observe the Moon Night, so we're gonna have, like, fun moon observing time. Or maybe I'll just give you moon observing tips if I can't get that set up working. And October we're gonna have a bunch of spooky folks on to talk about spooky things.
Oh, that's the one thing I'm looking forward to. The only saving grace is my season, fall.
We're gonna get you through October. This is our specialty. Jasmine knows all the witch stuff. I know all the cryptid and UFO stuff. She knows some more of it than me.
I get to wear more black, more dark colors. People don't ask questions.
I get to look the same. People don't ask questions. It's great. So anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight. And yeah, we're gonna just close out a little early. Hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. Please take care of yourselves now. Stay safe. And rock and roll.
Bye. Sorry. Bye.